Welcome to the Real List Podcast tonight. Boy, do I have a wonderful show for you. I promise you. Yeah, check it out. Tonight's show, American History, Separation Show. Yeah, we've done a good job of that. From an internal perspective, by cities, towns, states. Oh, yeah, we've done a good job of being good separatists. This is a separatist, rough, rugged society. Do you understand when people from other countries come over here? They say, "Damn, it's hard to get some money over there, man. It's rough, rugged. It's damn, they're cruel." Yeah, and then you have all of these other elements that exist. But hold on, let me just tell y'all for a minute. Let me just tell you how much I appreciate you. Let me settle down because I was about to jump just straight on in and start. Ooh, boy, I tell you, hey, sliding on y'all ass. But we don't want to move too fast. I'm very excited today because I got one particular book that I've been wanting for a while. I have the copied version, but I got the leather bound one now. Let me show you. It's so exciting. Let me show you what this is. Oh man, yeah, this is cool. See this title? Oh, it's gonna be hard to see that. Yeah, the Mound Builders. Beautiful casing. Look how beautiful this is. Look how gorgeous this is. Yeah. So for my ancestral people to be so thoughtful to put this type of copper color around it, it's just quite beautiful. Don't you agree? It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Let's take a little look see, shall we? And this is made by Skilled Books. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on, it's delicate now. It's soft. Oh yeah, Skilled Books. So they made this in India. Shout out to India. You have literally outsubscribed the United States. Wow. So shout out to India. Shout out to Bangladesh. Both of them countries have been on my bumper, and I will never be. I'm very extremely humbled. India, Bangladesh, USA, home. I love you so much, but those countries, I'm telling you, they have outpaced the United States when it comes to subscribers. Now, that's impressive. I've only been on for 5.5 months, so if it was up to the US, I wouldn't be as I wouldn't be as popular. So globally, I'm understanding my presence. That's why I'm trying to be more, accountable and responsible and making sure that I give you quality content. Because if you see what this book is made, I just showed you Mound Builders. And I'm gonna read out of this book just to let you know too, because these are my ancestors. The whole world know a great deal about Black Americans. They tell you this. They'll say, why you don't know who you are? You're the legend. Well, we're not a monolith. Some people know who they are. Some of us don't. Just like where you're from. Do you understand some people that moved to the United States that are from these other countries think bad about their homelands? I think that is extremely vicious, mean, cruel, and that's your place of birth. You should always have pride in the place where you come from and always think about, bettering your homeland or going back and being as powerful one day to even make changes. But you shouldn't want to go there and rule people because you think they're gonna look at you like you're a gringo or they're ashamed of you. You've been tainted by the American, them stupid people. But that's just not true. America has made an incredible amount of mistakes globally, but that wasn't the mound builders. Those were an overlay dominant society that encapsulated the intricate people of the planet. See? That's why this book was made in India, because there is history that is made about the Mississippians, the Yamasee, Mississippian Indians, and how they collaborated and how democracy was born from the Iroquois and Algonquin, but specifically the Iroquois and the Algonquin and the rest of the tribes. The dark melanated copper colored people of all the rays of melanin, lighter rays of melanin, darker rays of melanin, the intricate intricacies of these people, like me, an original. See the books that I showed you, the originals, all of the comics, all of everything that H.G. Wells studied, and you know, even Graham Hancock. I got his series too. You know, all of the discussions of the lost civilizations, because older archaeologists, oh, it's nothing to see here. That's because they started digging up everything and it was just extremely black. Look up Gert Mueller, I believe it is. He's a archaeologist that writes a lot of books about Black Sumer, the Black Sumerians, and he talks about a lot of the stories of the East, but nobody brings up the stories of the West. Just like I think a lot of stories have been placed in the East that happened in the West first. Now, maybe the world does go through cycles, and us as beings become, or what if we just are our ancestors and we are repetitive in the cycles and the places that we take on this planet again and again and again until we get it right? What if that's the message? What if a lot of the biblical stories or the indigenous stories, what if they're just not belonging to people that become Christians or Muslims or Jews? What if all of those things were distractions to taint you from what really happened, not just 6,000 years ago, but 300 plus thousand years ago, 400,000 years ago? But see, the thing is, a lot of people want to say the pyramids are like so old. No, I beg to differ. I think they're quite recent structures from the old world of antiquity. They have been built on top of each other over time. So it's the process of how long these practices was happening when it started with the mound builders. Okay. Jesus. Excuse me. All right. So let's get back into the show. You know, hey, I moonlight. You know, check me out. Turn this on so they can shut that up. There we go. It can shut up. Okay, wonderful. All right. So let's get back to the mound builders. Okay. First of all, I do want to read you this, the introduction. I do want to read you this. And by the way, this book is written by Stephen D. Pete. I did do a version of this show with the mound builders with the reprint. Gosh. But hey, it came out good, better than I thought. The book is official. I rather had gotten the book like this, vice getting the reprint, simply because the reprint, they slant pages. I don't think it was a very carefully crafted one. It's not bad because these books were written some time ago. As a matter of fact, Stephen D. Pete, India. This book was published in India. I'm trying to find the date. But let me read you this right here. Members of an antiquarian society, Oriental Society, fellow of AM, associated ad scientist, member of Victoria Institute of the Society D, ethnographic, core member, Numismatic Society of New York, Davenport Academy of Science, historical scientist of Virginia, Wisconsin, uh, the in Rhode Island, and the Department of Academy of Science. Also edited in American Antiquarian and Oriental journals. So the introduction is the first edition of the book was issued just before the 14th anniversary of the discovery of America, and at the time when especially interest was awakened in the history of the country. The present edition is issued at the time when the 100th anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase is to be celebrated, as is to be hoped that the new interest will be taken in the prehistoric work of the Mississippi Valley. It will be understood that the mounds and monuments are most numerous in the valley than anywhere else in the globe, on the globe. The majority of these have, to be sure, disappeared, and yet thought the interest which has been taken by individuals and knowledge of their existence, character, location, and context have been secured, and the public is not without information in references to them. The mound builders probably is not as difficult to solve as it once was 50 years or more ago. It was held that the Mississippi Valley must have been settled by civilized people who had migrated from the historic country. And as it was reported that the silver scrabbles, Hebrewic inscriptions, in the Truyune vases have been discovered in the mounds. But this was owing to the lack of the real information and the misinterpretations of facts. At the present time, the belief is common and widespread that the mound builders were ancestors of the Indians who occupied the Great Valley at the time in the discovery and were the contemporaries of the cliff dwellings and the Pueblos, whose none was is the Great Plateau in the west. Eyelashes. They were, hold on, I said plateaus in the west. They were the contemporaries of the particularly civilized tribes who occupied the regions of the southwest Mexico and Central America, to whom many to whom may ruined cities which have been so recently discovered, which have ascribed. The author of this book, who has also prepared a work on the ruined cities, believes that there was a America during prehistoric time, a stage of society, and a type of architecture and art which has nearly passed away, and which would be impossible to restore for the races and the tribes that formerly existed here, which have been subjugated and overshadowed by the people of who have taken possession, and that they have given up their efforts to perpetuate their old systems, and many have been lost the memory of them. It remains, therefore, the specialist is to rehabilitate the scene, that the present and the future generations may become informed as to the things in which once existed and be able to carry back the record of prehistoric times. The day of controversy over the mound builder problem has passed. About only questions that arise whether there are any evidence of contact of these countries in which prehistoric times, and whether the curious things found in the mounds shall be ascribed to this and some other causes. The author touches upon this several times, but does not undertake to describe the question. The picture which presents the mounds and the relics is a very interesting one. There is undoubtedly great contest between the tribes and races before the discovery. Many changes had occurred in their locations. The more civilized tribes who had come north as far as the Ohio River and built their works and left their relics had retired. Some of the northern tribes had gone southward and dwelled in the mountains of Tennessee and along the rivers and flows of the Atlantic. But there were many villages scattered along the watercourses, both in north and south, which showed that the people were really more advanced than they were after the times of the discovery. For their presence of the white man put an end to the condition of society which purely aboriginal and introduced a style of art, architecture, and form of the society which was more European than Native American. That's what they did. It's certainly more intercasting to open the door to get a view of the conditions of things which once existed but will never be seen again. It was not just the civilization as the recent discovery, but the discoveries as far east, nor was it which civilization was formerly existent in the central provinces of Mexico and Central America, but was a stage of society so uniquely and so purely aboriginal that it would seem that every American citizen should know about it. And that's what I'm restoring in your minds today. The book is copper for a reason. It's my complexion of all over for a reason. I hope you understand me and understand me well. Chapter 1. The distribution of mounds. Chapter 2. The mound builders and their works. Chapter 3. The mound builders and their mastodon. Mound builders and their index. Mound burial mounds viewed as monuments. The sacred enclosures of Ohio. The Great Cahokia Mound. The migration of mound builders. Village life in the mound builders' cults. The race question. So we're going to go to 157 and let's answer the race question. Okay, let's do that. So that you know. 157. I could have went there too, but I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. Go to that page, okay? Oof, there's so much I'm missing and I don't even like it, but I got to do what I said I was going to do. Oh, shut up. I think my thing go to hell. All right. We now take up the subject of the races. It was once the opinion that there were different races on the continent. Some of them were identical with the races of known to history, as the mounds were supposed to furnish evidence of this. The particular race which built the mounds was known as the most popular theory that there were either Phoenicians or were members of the lost tribes of Israel. Whole books were written to prove this history. One of them by the celebration of Adair, who was an Indian agent and had an abundant opportunity to know about the Indians and the Gulf states, where I'm from. The great works of Lord Kingsborough, on which he spent his fortune, and which resulted in our financial ruins, imprisonment for death, was married by a similar theory. Opposite to this theory, it was the position in which taken in the members' theory of the Bureau of Ethnology at Washington, which is to the effect that all the tribes in America belong to one race, which would be called Americans, a barbarous word coined out of two other words, American Indian, via American Indian. This opinion, however, is not accepted by all. In fact, many of those who have ever, not accepted by all. In fact, many of those who had the best opportunities to know take the ground that the containment was settled by the different stocks that entered from the northern or spread out to the different directions. The Eskimos toward the north and East Atlantic and Arctic coast. This didn't happen. The Apaskins, the southeast into the interior. The Algonquins or the Iroquois eastward towards the Atlantic, and the Nassau southward, ultimately reaching New Mexico in Mexico, and were becoming the foundation of the Pueblos, and the Toltec civilization. This is the opinion of Mr. Edward and H.P. and Edward H. Payne and Mr. L.H. Morgan, who identified the mound builders with the Pueblo tribes. This diversity of opinion has had a tendency to keep the mound builders question open, and some hold that they were different races formerly dwelling in the Mississippi Valley, some of having come into the valley at an early date from one direction, and some from another. Excuse me. All right. All right. Early date in one direction, some one from another. Three or four different stock beings represented by different classes, mounds, and early works which have been identified through the subject in the states of uncertainty that no one has been able to thus far say where the stock originated at the time in the first settlement in the Mississippi Valley. There is one fact which one received much attention as the one attention as it deserves. It is that there was a succession of populations in nearly every one of the districts into which the mound builders' territory had been divided. The succession began perhaps for the last um, glacial period, but continued even through the times when the continent assumed its present conditions and did not cease until the discovery of Columbus. This succession has been traced not only in the relics, but there have been discoveries that the skulls and skeletons, as well as the mounds, earthworks, and the mounds were not built all the same time, but in different times and by different peoples. It is exclaimed that Professor F.W. Putnam and others, excuse me, mm, my apologies. Damn. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The succession discovered by Columbus is built at the same time. Oh yeah, and it's yeah F.W. Putnam and others that the Esquimaux reached as far as Cape Cod and left their relics at the shell mounds found in the coast and by Reverend W. M. Beauchamp that they once dwelt in New York State, for their relics have been found there beneath the soil. It is also well known that the Iroquois, Delawares claim that they were preceded by a race called the Ala Alajahiwi, who had been identified by some of those mound builders in the Ohio Valley. Those others think that they were the Cherokees. Okay, Dr. Horatio Hale held that the Great Dakota stock who dwelt in the Atlantic coast as a portion of the migration through the mound builders' territory financially reached their home in the Missouri and upper Mississippi rivers through the evidence that at one time in the South mound builders moved upward and took possession in the valley in Ohio and built the great mounds of Cahokia in Illinois and St. Louis, dwelling in the Marietta, Ohio. Since the discoveries and several tribes have passed over the same regions, amongst them has been mentioned in the Cherokees, Eries, and the Iroquois, and the Swannees, and the Delawares, and the Hurons, and all of these have used the mounds as burial places and left their relics in them, but the identical tribes, but the relics. The archaeologist has also been puzzled over the findings in certain highly routed and the finally finished relics in the state of Ohio. Relics that was give the idea that the people in the tribes once dwelt there and who had reached much higher stages in the arts than any of the Indian tribes of the North, and yet they do not seem to have been left by any white race. Point blank and period. I rest my case. So you have to know, people, America is an overlay society. And as the book says, the inhabitants of people that were here are still here, have always been here, nowhere else. It said nothing about Africa. It said Phoenicians, but Phoenicians only because they have the similar writing of Cometians. See, the book, there are multiple books. Now there's another book. Yeah, we know that Ramesses wasn't a Phoenician, he was a Cometian. Okay? But Phoenicians and Cometians were brother and sister originals. Brother and sister originals. Phoenicians were extremely well, they built boats very well seafaring people. They have relics of the Phoenicians in the east and relic Phoenicians in the west. Same thing with the Cometians. They call them Egyptians, Timeri American Indians. See, there are relationships that you need to understand. I just read you, and I just told you in the beginning of this show that a lot of people that live in Bangladesh and India know the relationship that we once had before they mind shift. They like imagine this book, and you know this book looks like this. Imagine them saying, "Okay, I'm going to agree to everything being like this." Same thing with Africa. Same thing with every nation. The book, the mound builders, where I'm from, the people that came out of them that actually came out of the Toltecs, places in the Yucatan Peninsula. When they came out of there, what happened was they crossed the Mississippi. Those are the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Natchez. They also had big giants with them as well. They had giants all the way around until the early 1900s. Some exist today. You just won't see them. I mean, when you 6'2" and above, we all kind of shrunk. We all kind of got down and out of the greatnesses of and the power and all of that good prowess. All of these things happen to America, and they reassign these things to the East. They happen all over the world, so it's not like these things didn't exist. It's just America was plentiful with all of these things. That's why it's the land of milk and honey by knowledge of the world, and that's is also distinctively why we are admired and hated by other melanated people of the globe, which I wish that was not the case. So the world, and you know this, the agreed upon equation was to take the mound builder all the way down to nothing but a relic. When you work somebody in the sun all day, understand that shit taking effect. I can work outside. You guys know I work hard on the weekend. Me and my wife are weekend warriors. But do you understand if you're working out there like that, you could actually lose your memory. 5 minutes. If you're working specifically, if you don't know how to place things in particular places to keep yourself safe, you'll forget where you put the rake. You'll forget where you put the shovel. You have to know how to work in certain particular conditions because you will forget just that fast. Your body is in a particular operating mode that is trying to actually get something accomplished. That depletes your mental capacity working in the sun. I'm telling you, it's the truth. So you can get so disoriented so fast if you don't have something directly that you're focused on that has to be done. The only people that have that capability is people that have been not conditioned to do it, born, living to create, living to do these things. Why do you think you had to put a gun in my head to do it? It wasn't always a whip. And the shackles, Yeah, that came from a lot of shit that you did in your homelands. A lot of that shit didn't work over here. It's just propaganda like you do everything else. So when you can tell the people they must have did all of that to beat us like that, no, no, not true. They can starve you out and outrun you and overrun you with people. You can kill as much as you want. They don't care. They brought poor Europeans here to die. And if they could make it, they would. Let them make it. But they didn't. The crown wanted to rid themselves of their poor, disgusting, they called them undesirables. So the initial whites, the literal, the people that didn't even have the brain to think to know how to eat unless somebody told them how to eat. They didn't brush their teeth. They didn't clean themselves. Hell, you piss them off, they'll eat each other. So you had to send them over here with supplies and wagons. Go fend for yourself. That's where you get the ideal of gentrification. Europeans gentrified all of their poor and threw them over here, called them indentured servants because they were. They were slaves, undesirables. And they died off. They failed, tried to build colonies, told them, get the hell out of Europe right now. That's why America has so much animosity towards Europe. And then Europe has so much animosity towards America. But they said, but when you talking and consulting, when you have a bigger plan, so you have to do one thing. You use your tools. Your tools, the biggest tools that people that comes out of the mind of a European is that people are tools. And that's just not right. You are meant to be used, abused, and misused the way I see fit because I have more knowledge than you, which none of these things were ever true. You had technology to destroy, not to build. Out of destruction came the people, which are roses. We grew out of hard, rugged nothingness because we were put in the sun. That was a heavy trick put on us. We know these things because it takes a while to get your memory back. But when you start understanding and listening to your DNA, listening to your body, listening to what you are and who you are, understanding how you respond to certain things from a real natural space, a real organic space, and not a space of ill repute or a space of thinking you are in a space of nothingness. Those things are, it takes it, like I said, it takes a while to get your mind back. Even now today, you look how many people were raised a specific type of way because they have specific types of parents. But at the end of the day, are you functioning out of your own mind? Like specifically, or is it what you were told? Why are you a Christian? Why are you a Muslim? Why are you who you are today? Because you were constructed? Yes. You may have been indoctrinated, soft version. All of these things are light. That's what systems in America are, light systems. Is everything light? Even in college, people are so happy about their paper degrees, but those are only introductions to what you are interested in. And some of you have gotten degrees and went into those fields of study and won successful because you felt like I didn't think it was going to be like this. Well, you never discovered what you wanted to be. You followed the American program. Parents fell for it. Let me put your ass grown. You get nothing. I would never put my child out of my house. Only when she's prepared. And when she's prepared, I want her to be fully prepared. She's not taking up space. This is her home. Who else am I going to leave it to? If I buy another one, who I'm going to leave that one to? I'm not selling this one. I'm not giving nothing away. I'm never giving anything else away. I've given away enough. You understand? So now it's time for reclaiming your mind, reclaiming your space, and understanding that the relationships that you do have with people They should be unique. They should be learned. They should be something of value. And if you don't have those type of relationships with people, maybe you should find new friends. All of my friends, I value each and every, you know who you are. I value you deeply. I'm grateful to you. I'm the same person all the time. What I will do for the people that do listen to the show, because I think I want to reward you with how I was able to get, you know, make this thing happen on this platform. I'm so grateful because I could never have done this without you. You make this possible. You make the wheel this possible every day I come on here. So thank you. Thank you. I just need you to do more liking, sharing, and subscribing, please. No, the subscribing is great. So yes, do that too, but share. Share it. Watch the long shows. I love that you love the shorts. That's a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful to you. I can't tell you what to do. I know it's a lot of content out here. I just thank you for taking time out to listen to my little old podcast. I'm appreciative of that. And we humble about it too. So the thing is, the reason why American history separation show, because that's what we have done throughout all of history. Learn how to take on the ways of the dominant society, which breeds separation. When you have grocery stores, you don't form together anymore. Shout out to you know who you are. When you have grocery stores, you don't form anymore. When you have, me and my wife, we trying to buy, piece by piece. We finna start. We're about to get into some real farming. Oh yeah, and not like no real farming. We just want to get a garden. Okay, just a garden, just a garden. Feed ourselves, something small, start it out, get educated more on it. I got green thumbs. I can grow grass and everything as long as you have the right information. You can do it too. So I don't try to elevate and run away with ego and all of those things on this show. I try to educate, edutain, and make sure you have a good experience. That's if it works for me, it works for you, and I'm thoroughly appreciative of it. You understand what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm not playing the music tonight is because I wanted to really get something off my chest and let you guys know that we got to stop the separation if you really want this country to grow. I'm not really so much into a lot of people's ideology, but I know restoration is extremely important. So we have to restore the actual real history of this country so that people can actually see the damage. If you don't see the damage that you have done, how would you know how to correct it? So we must keep telling the oral stories. We must keep practicing our oral traditions of making sure that we get these out to our children. Now you ban books and do all of this stuff, but wait. We own our own books. We educate our own children. This is a Maruka. A Maruka. It's America. We're just the originals. So I will always behold my origins. The truth. I didn't say my truth. I said the truth. I just so happened to sit in the bosom of the truth. We got to get out of the delusions and the misconclusions, the alternate facts, because there's only one fact is that America is not a country of immigrants. This country has and always have had an original people. But the world owed us a specific apology because the United Nations allowed it, the whole world allowed it, and you ignored us as if we were never present. You allowed everything to happen to us. And you didn't check. You mimicked. And you became adjacent. You remember that. So all of the foreign foreigners from other countries that have come here and have participated in utter disrespect. You see why we just kind of hit ignore? It's not hate. It's not even disgust. It's not even disdainment. But you have been extremely diabolically disgusting with your behaviors. No one made you behave the way you behave. So you see me getting on here ridiculing you, calling you all kind of nasty names. That's nasty behavior. I think people are worth more than that because everybody that looks like you, fortunately, they don't act like you. That's why they're proud of their homelands. And some people that actually do live in the places that you call shithole and want to be in America so bad, why isn't everybody in your homeland trying to come to America? Because they love where they're from. And some of them think some Americans, I don't know, some of them, they go to foreign countries and treat people like shit. Yeah, that's not fair either. So the global arrogance of Americans has been disgusting for a long time because you have to understand living with people when you are, raised a certain way, those type of things tip you over. And when there's a propaganda campaign on top of the black American's head, well, the other side of the coach can do whatever the hell they want. And we get to take all the blame. When in all actuality, you guys never saw through the fabrics of what you were doing. You just wanted to be long. And you picked the person or the people that you are more adept to because your whole purpose of coming here was to do one thing. And this is not a color thing. No. Africans do the same thing. Africans come over here and despise black Americans, and so does other people of color. But as a matter of fact, black Americans are the only people that would tell you that some whites treat us. Because when I go to European nations, I haven't been treated bad. I haven't. Black nations, I haven't been treated bad. I have manners, so I don't think I've given anyone a reason to treat me bad. I was excited to get to know you. I was excited to learn who you were. I was excited about your customs. I wanted to learn more about who you were and see how we were even similar and familiar. But unfortunately, I was extremely naive. I've been around the globe. So I have no reason to tell you any type of stories, lies, or things that are just not damn true. I refuse. But I wasn't hated. Not when I was in their country. But when I found out the people in their country, they're pleasant, beautiful, and wonderful. The people that come here, you expose yourselves. And that nasty behavior that you have is just on display. And it has to be talked about. It has to be on display because you really are in a foreign country. And we are really not on the same level as you see now. But you took every opportunity to position yourself over me, make yourself better than me. So the only reason why y'all want to talk about white people so much is because the hell you're two-faced it. You're two-faced it. You know what black Americans say about you, white man? I'll tell them. Just so you can get that position. Do you know what Danny say about you? Danny would tell you to your face what he thinks about you. But you see, that's the problem with the foreign blacks. They're so akin to telling a lot of untruths. That's sort of your thing. But when you lie to get an advantage or tell untruths to get an advantage, that's not a good That's not a good thing. That's not a good behavior. When you think that you are setting someone up for failure, or you can practice these stupid wannabe ghetto wannabe Jedi mind tricks with people, that's begrudgingly. It's immature. It's foolish. It's unbecoming of a human. It's a weird action because you want to behave the way you want to behave. You feel like that gives you power, a sense of purpose. What it really is petty, and it shows your lack of humanity, your lack of morality, and truly your lack of ethics. And that don't mean shit to some of you anyway. So anyway, that's the show tonight. All I want people to do is practice a more formal way of dealing with each other that deals with truth. You don't know who you don't know. And when I meet you for the first time, I should be able to see that there's some truth in you, that you there's a real exchange, a real participation of appreciation, of getting to know me and me getting to know you. But when it's all fake and phony, why do it? Why even put yourself through it? Why do it? If you're just going to be phony, and some people just don't care for other people. I understand. Trust me, I do. But that's the show tonight, people. I wanted to end it on a good note by saying, take a step back, practice a little humility, stop looking at the other person, and take a look at you. Take a look at you. That's what you should deal with. You. Hey, check it out. Check it out. It's my favorite part of the show. I hope you love it. We're getting the website prepared. We're getting everything. We're working out. We're working a lot of things out right now. Shout out to my gorgeous, beautiful wife. She's done a hell of a job improving and making some changes, appropriate, nice changes. Just being that wonderful person that she is, very creative, and I'm very appreciative of her input. She loves to delve into the intricacies, and I'm grateful for that. So anyway, that's a nice show. And I'm thankful for you, all of my subscribers and the people that love checking out the show. Again, check out the Will List podcast. Just check it out. I'm not asking you to purchase anything yet and do all that kind of stuff. No, I want you to check out. I'm in progressive mode, still building. Still humble at it, still trying. I haven't really even gotten started yet. I hope you know that. There's so much more to come. This will be a show of a lot of great experiences. We're going to go through a lot of great experiences with each other. And I'm going to keep, pushing it ahead and, building this platform up, making sure I keep coming on, giving you the best I got. So anyway, that's the show tonight. And check it out. Let's be for real. The wheel is yours. Y'all be cool, be easy. I'll be back at tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have AE going through some things. Y'all send out a prayer to AE. It was some, things going on. Shout out to the brother. We appreciate you. Hope everything in your life is going great, getting back on track and going good. So y'all just send a couple of, ashes, send a couple of prayers up for him, and appreciate the work he's done with us on this show, and that he's definitely gonna be coming back. But people go through things, and we also just want to say, give them your hearts and tell them, keep your head up and keep it in the road. So anyway, that's the show tonight. And remember, I'll be back in the wheel is yours, pimping. Pay.